Hello and welcome to this video on the Facebook Ads Masterclass. Today we're going to go through and troubleshoot all of your results to see what to fix and improve on your website. I like to visualize this as a funnel. You're going to hear that word used a lot in a lot of different contexts. For this context, I mean the customer sales funnel from recognition to purchase. Before we get started, I wanted to ask everyone a favor. I put out one new video every single day on advertising, marketing, dropshipping, and Shopify. If these videos help you in any way, please subscribe to the channel and like the video to get these in front of more people. My goal is to help make the training accessible to anyone who wants to learn, regardless of their current financial situation. I'm a firm believer that education should not cost you a dime, and I want to take the information hiding in those high-cost programs and make them available for free. Thank you so much for clicking through. I hope you enjoy the video. As I was saying in the introduction, I like to visualize the customer journey as a funnel. On the screen, you can see why. At each step of the customer journey, your audience starts to shrink, which is 100% normal. At the very top, you have your recognition. This is people seeing your ad and deciding whether or not they want to click through and learn more about what you have to offer. Under that, we have all these who have clicked through to your website or offer. Then, we have those who said they wanted it and added your product or service to their virtual cart. And the next step is the person who started putting in their information in the checkout screen, and then finally, at the other end of your funnel, out comes the customer. This video is going to be breaking down each step of the customer journey in your funnel and explaining how you can improve the flow of your numbers from recognition to purchase. Top level, recognition. At the top of our customer funnel is recognition. This is how many people are seeing your ad. In most cases, the only thing you could look at here is your CPM or cost per mil. This is the cost to you to have your advertisement shown to 1,000 people. When you have a CPM that feels exceptionally high, there could be many different factors related to what is driving up the cost. Competition is typically the number one driver of cost, but if you're going after a particular competitive niche, you can expect to see CPMs jump as high as $40, while lower competitions may only cost $5 to $10. On average, my campaigns for the big 5 countries on Facebook, United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand, see a CPM of about $17.50. There is a new factor that might be driving your costs up: your customer feedback score. As you start to sell more products and Facebook polls your customers, you generate a customer feedback score. If your customer feedback score drops below 2, you can expect to start seeing some warnings and penalties that drive up the cost of CPMs. And then let's talk about your clicks, your cost per click. This is really a subsection of your recognition. If you're experiencing a high cost per click, you have a few things you can look at to see what you can improve. There are 3 main drivers for a high cost per click. Number 1 is high CPM, number 2 is poor ad copy, and number 3 is poor targeting. Since we just talked about CPM, I won't go into it, but know that if you have a high CPM, you'll likely have a higher than average cost per click. This isn't always the case, but it is likely to happen. Poor ad copy is almost always the problem when you have a high cost per click. Most people write bad advertising. This isn't an indictment on your ability to write compelling advertising, it's a testament to the modern consumer being able to tune out what used to work so well. Writing ad copy is an art that most people just don't care to learn. The more you write and play around, the better you become at writing these ad copies. That's all there is to it. Follow the tips that I gave you in a previous video in this series about writing ads using our 4-step template to make the process slightly easier. Poor targeting is something that can happen. A lot of time it is just product audience mismatch. You might think that your pair of silver sneakers would be a great fit to target someone who fits in the interest silver sneakers, but your audience is actually completely different than you initially thought. Take a moment to analyze your audience and make sure that your product fits the audience well before jumping to the conclusion about your ad copy. Traffic, clicks. You have plenty of people coming to your website, but it feels like no matter what you do, they just don't click add to cart. This is by far the worst feeling when you are starting off. It can be completely demoralizing to a new store owner. Keep your chin up. We've all gone through this at some point. There are a few things that can cause a customer to show enough interest to click through, but not enough interest to actually purchase. They are: number 1, misleading advertisements. Number 2, product value doesn't match the price. Number 3, poor product descriptions. And number 4, poor page designs. Now, I would like to think in the perfect world, the first option doesn't exist, and if it does, they know exactly why no one is buying. You can't advertise a chair, and when your customer gets to your landing page, they see a waffle iron. And when they leave, you can't be surprised. Make sure what you're advertising and how you're advertising it is representative of the product you're selling. Product value doesn't match the price. Notice I didn't say the price is too high here. You can, and in some cases do, oversell a product. Think about it. We all feel like we have this internal bullshit detector that can sense when something just isn't right. When it goes off, we stop paying attention and just move on. Imagine you get this amazing product description that outlines a product and makes it sound like it's worth $1,000, but the sales price is $19.99. Our BS detectors are sounding the alarm. They're trying to steal my credit card info and drain my bank account. No way that this deal is real. You're not getting my money. The inverse is also true. You can and probably do undersell a product. Let's have an honest discussion about this. You aren't going to sell a crappy Bluetooth headset worth $7 for $99. You can only polish that turd so much. You might be able to squeeze out $20 to $30, but if all you do is write out the headline and features and put some bullet points under it, you aren't getting $10 for that headset. Even if you write highly compelling product descriptions, there's only so much that people are willing to pay for an off-brand Bluetooth headset. And let's talk about that for a second. Your product descriptions, if they're poor, let's say your grammar's poor, your English is poor, and you're going after an English-speaking audience, you're going to have issues. So make sure that your product descriptions are as decent as possible. You don't have to have a master's degree in English for this to work. You just need to make sure it flows like you're having a conversation. This isn't an essay that they have to read about the product. It's supposed to take them off the paper and as if they're using the product. Lastly, poor page designs. If your website is hard to read and there's colors everywhere, it's unappealing. And if it's unappealing, people will not buy. Make sure your page looks professional, it looks sharp, and it doesn't have a bunch of different colors and things flashing, not a bunch of pop-ups. Your customer is there for one thing, to buy that product. They're not there to give you their email address to sign up for a newsletter for a product or a service that they've never heard about before. Keep it simple. Page design is one of the biggest flaws in most e-commerce stores because people just go and do the craziest things because that's what everyone else says is working. It doesn't work. Add to cart. Yippee! They added to cart! But wait a minute. They didn't buy. Why? They liked it enough to add it to cart, so why would they leave without it? First, stop thinking like you're at the supermarket and you intend to buy everything you put in your basket. The weird thing that store owners started noticing is that people act differently and buy differently online compared to in store. So what are some of the reasons behind this phenomenon? People like to window shop, but also they like to put things in their cart too. Maybe something came up and they forgot about you. Maybe they got lost on your website because the navigation's confusing. All right, so number 1 and 2, a little bit out of your control. Number 2, something came up and they forgot about you. A good retargeting campaign will get them back to your webpage and ready to buy. However, bad navigation is a culprit people don't often think about. This is usually when I tell my clients something they don't like hearing. No one is here to browse your store. We drove targeted traffic for the sole purpose of buying a specific item. Once they click that button to add to cart, they need to see the cart page. If they decide at that point that they want to browse, allow them. When someone clicks add to cart, direct to the cart page. You have to guide the interaction as much as possible. Think about it. When was the last time you just browsed a website because you saw an ad for a particular product? I know this hurts because you put so much effort into a high quality design for your website. Sell the one product and get them back. Initiate checkout. Dang it, we almost got them. One step away, but they left. Why does this keep happening? If people are leaving after putting some info into checkout, here are the likely culprits. Number 1, unexpected cost for shipping. Number 2, the colors changed on them. You'll be surprised on this one. And number 3, there's a problem with filling out the forms on the website. All right, let's talk about it. Elephant in the room. Stop charging for shipping. Go back to my shipping strategy video and implement that shipping strategy. That stops issue number 1. Talk about number 2. Colors play a huge role in trust. If your website's all pinks and purples, but your checkout page is orange, you just transported your customer out of your website into this foreign checkout form. I liken this to shopping inside of a Walmart, but checking out and leaving out of a Target. It's a wholly confusing situation and should be avoided. Always aim for continuity. If you have blue on your website, your checkout should be blue. You can customize all of this. Last part. If you're having trouble putting in your address, you probably aren't going to fix the issue yourself. You'll just leave and say, well, it's their loss. Think like the customer, because guess what? That's who you're trying to please. I would say, you know what? They should have fixed that issue. It's not my problem they don't want my money. We both know that's true. Make sure there's no issues or random required fields that shouldn't exist before launching your store. I had somebody who came to me saying, I can't get my people to check out. I went to their checkout and I ran through it. They were requiring that you put an apartment number. How many people were buying and they're in apartments? But if you didn't have an apartment number, it wouldn't go through. So you're getting to this required piece. You don't have an apartment number. What are you going to do? You know what? Forget them. I'm done. Hey, thanks for bearing with me with this video. Troubleshooting is a process, and when done right, will make your life a whole lot easier. Refer to this video as often as you need in order to make the troubleshooting process as easy and effective for your business as possible. If this video helped you in any way, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily advertising, marketing, dropshipping, and Shopify trainings. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.